Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Lazy Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Sam Priestley, and today I want to do something slightly different, and that is to play you an interview I did quite a long time ago, back in March 2015. The interview is with my long-term business partner, Ben Larcombe, who is one of my favourite people, and probably someone you won't hear much about from sort of any other source, because he's not really in the limelight. He likes to just do his own thing, and is very happy with where his business is and where his life is at. But even so, he has a really remarkable way of thinking that has inspired me a lot over the years. He kind of approaches problems at a very out of the box and different way of thinking. And as I hope you'll hear from this interview, when he comes across problems or sort of obstacles that most people just give up at or just follow the normal route, he'd kind of think of a way around it and do things that way. He's also kind of chosen his own path ever since he was a teenager, and done what kind of the mainstream and what his friends and people, including me, thought were bad decisions, but then ended up turning out to be the correct decisions and led his life to where it is today, which is in a very good place. Yeah, I've worked with him for quite a long time now, although this podcast is a little bit old. So this is from 2015, which would have been, at this point we would have started our table tennis business together. It would have been doing quite well, but it won't yet be at the levels that it is today. This is before my blog came popular. This is before we started doing the Pipe House Gin business together. So I hope you enjoy it. If you want to hear more from Ben, he's got a blog about table tennis, expert table tennis, and he also has his own podcast, also to do with table tennis, the Expert Table Tennis Podcast. All right, let's get going.
I was just thinking, I have no idea what you're going to be asking or what you want me to say.
Well, here we go. This is what should be. This is what should be fun.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
I was just something I just realised is I was thinking, oh, it's going to be brilliant to have a podcast on iTunes. I thought I did actually have a podcast on iTunes, didn't I?
With Tom.
Yeah. We were ahead of the curve then.
And I've tried to dig it out a few times, but I haven't.
I've got it on my computer, but it's
Yeah.
not on iTunes anymore. That would have been 2008. It would have been November 2008.
And that was right at the beginning of the podcast scene.
Yeah, no one had a
No one
podcast
had a
in November
podcast.
2008.
Yeah, you could have been one of the first.
Imagine if we just continued to do some kind of comedy podcast since then.
Yeah.
But we just assumed that why would we ever be able to have a successful podcast with just random people? So
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go back to the beginning of your sort of online businessy career. So you were once a retailer of slightly dodgy clothing. Is that correct?
that is correct.
How did that happen? Tell me about that.
I have no idea how that happened, other than I think, when did it happen? That was first year at Grantham.
Okay. So what?
I was
So like 10 years ago, a bit less than that, 9
less
years
than
ago.
that. 18. It would have been 2007.
2007.
Moved to Grantham. Decided that I didn't want to get a student loan.
Yeah.
So I was working in McDonalds.
Yeah.
Was looking for any other way to make enough money that I could basically live without having to get a loan. I think just loads of people in Grantham have fake clothes.
Yeah.
And people would just sell them on markets and things. And then I thought, well, I want some of these. And everyone else seems to want them. So maybe I can just find some in China. So I started just doing all these random searches on the internet for any of these random clothes, and then talking to Chinese people about shipping them over. It was all really tiny quantities, 10 polo shirts or something.
Okay. Were you really nervous the first time you did it? Did you have to do some sort of Western Union transfer to some random person you'd met on a forum who was going to send you some fake clothes?
Yeah, I'm not. I think it might have been PayPal.
Okay.
Because I don't think I did Western Union or anything like that. Yeah, I think the first time I did it, it was for five. These polo shirts are so dirt cheap as well. I was probably sending 30 quid or something.
Yeah. Okay.
So it didn't really
matter.
bother me. Yeah, but I remember thinking who knows if they're gonna turn up or not. You just gotta hope and cross your fingers and hope that something turns up. Yeah, so a little box arrived. There's a concierge at Grantham that would collect things. So like this box covered in Chinese packaging that looks like really duffed up and like covered in dust. They obviously thought I was mental. I don't know. So I went and picked it up from them.
He was your accomplice.
Like back then eBay was really, really dodgy. So just everything was fake on eBay, and everyone knew it was fake. It was like instead of going down to the market to buy stuff, people would just buy it on eBay instead.
And what were you able to survive without getting a student loan?
Yeah, I didn't get a student loan for the first 2 years.
Cool.
But I did. That was really low key. Like it was.
Was that mainly due to McDonald's, or did he make enough?
Well, McDonald's. It was probably like a combination of the two. I probably made. How much did you make at McDonald's? Because I used to do it pretty much every time I came home.
Okay.
So it's like, what do you get a week at McDonald's? I don't know, 250 quid, something like that. You get like 50 quid a day.
Yeah.
So during the summer you can make $2,000. You can make, maybe I made like 3 or 4 grand from McDonald's during the holidays, and then about the same from eBay stuff.
Okay. Oh, that's a pretty good earner for a student then.
And my student, like the amount I had to pay was not very much because the accommodation was cheap, and actually it only cost £1,000 a year for the course, but that was on a loan because that's like a separate thing.
Yeah. So why did you go to Grantham in the first place?
I went to Grantham. I just didn't really want to go to uni.
Okay.
So I got accepted to King's to do geography. I was really like, everyone else at school was really keen to go to uni. I really didn't want to go.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what I wanted to study. I'd studied my A-levels with geography, DT and IT. I just picked random subjects that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
So I was so keen not to go to uni that I didn't bother to look around anywhere. So I applied to, no, I only applied to 2. I applied to Kingston and King's. I was planning to live at home.
Yeah.
And I said, if they ask for an interview, like I'm not going, so just cross your fingers that they don't ask for an interview. I don't know, I was just a moron, I don't know. Fortunately, they didn't. King's offered me BBB, I think, and Kingston's like not very good, so it was like, I don't know, CCD, like it was, you would get into there. Anyway, I got BBC, got into King's anyway. They just sent me a thing saying that's fine. And then I decided that I had a friend that was going to Grantham to play table tennis, so I just decided I'd rather do that. So I had to call up King's and tell them that thank you for the offer, but because you have to study a course at Grantham as well. So I did this kind of like foundation degree in sports science, but that's kind of like UCAS as well.
Yeah.
And the only way to get onto it would be to get King's to kind of like reject me, and then I have to get Kingston to reject me because that's my second choice. And once they both rejected me, then I can sign up to go to Grantham. So I did that.
So what you rung them up and you were like, thank you very much for the offer, but I'd rather go play table tennis.
I'm not even sure if I said thank you very much for the offer. I think I just added that now and made myself sound better. I think I just said, I need you to, because I'd spoken to someone on like the internet from UCAS about what I needed to do.
Yeah.
And she just said, oh, you need to get them to, I don't know what they called it, but it's basically kind of like just cancel their offer to you. So I basically just asked them to do that, and I'll do the same with Kingston. Yeah.
I can't imagine that phone call.
They
awkward.
didn't really ask any questions. It's not like it's the tutor of the course. It's just someone in admin, isn't it?
Yeah. Doesn't really care. That's so weird. What did your parents think when you told them you were turning down university and going to play table tennis?
Yeah, I don't think they minded that much. Like, I remember my dad saying that, like, you know, you can't just play table tennis forever. You have to do something. But I mean, at the time, I kind of thought, well, I don't know. I've always been a bit of an optimist. I just assume that everything will work out right in the end. It always does, so I continue to be an optimist.
So I
think my mum was fine. My mum always was like very keen on like not just following the traditional route.
Yeah.
She didn't have like any good alternatives. She'd be perfectly happy for you not to go to uni. at one time she was trying to get me not to do A-levels, to go to like Nescott College instead and do some kind of like apprenticeship, despite the fact that I was like, relatively bright compared to the other people in my school. Today that was just, you just thought, oh, maybe you'd like to do like
Plumbing or something.
I don't know. Yeah, like maybe that would be more interesting. I was thinking, oh, I don't know. Like to me, like everyone at school was like the only people that go there would have failed all their exams, and I was getting like A's. But
so funny. So you had no long-term plans. You were just thought, oh, that'll be interesting.
I think at the time I thought, oh, maybe I'll get really good at table tennis.
Okay.
Or coach table tennis. I think I'd already thought that.
Oh, you could coach.
Kind of, I could just make some kind of a living out of table tennis.
Yeah. What did your friends say when you told them?
Yeah, I don't really know. I think they just. I assume they thought that it was like a stupid thing to do. But like at the same time, I think people like to know someone that's doing something ridiculous, get someone to talk about.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think people quite like to like have a friend. If all your friends go to uni, that's not as interesting as having all your friends go to uni and one of your friends be at a table tennis academy.
Yeah.
Although they wouldn't want to do it themselves.
Yeah. So if you had a kid now and they got to 18 and they turned down their offer and they got into King's and they turned down their offer to go off and play table tennis, would you be supportive?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, it wouldn't bother me.
What do you think your wife would think?
I don't know. I think she's coming around to the idea that, like, I don't know. It depends who they are, don't they? Because obviously some kids would just do that and then dot around and never get a job, and it's just like they're burying their head in the sand. But I think you can tell if someone's actually going to make a go of something or not.
So while you're at Grantham, you spend your time playing table tennis, and you also started a blog about grime. What is grime?
Yeah, why? So grime at the time was like quite a big thing, more so than now. Anyway, like this was kind of like before dubstep, and so there were people that were into grime that were, I don't know, saw it as like a bit of a novelty, like it was cool to be into it.
Okay, well, what actually is it?
So what is it? It's like, I don't know, it's hard to describe. I guess it's like UK rap, but generally done at a faster tempo. So,
are you able to give us a demonstration?
No. But we did. The one thing I worked out is that pretty much all grime is at 140 BPM.
Okay.
So by kind of like going through a song in my head, I'm able to like work out how much time has passed. So I can count the beats, and if I count like 70 beats, I know 30 seconds exactly has gone.
Really? How on earth did you work that out?
I'm not sure where it came from. I remember.
When would you ever use this skill?
I think there was a game on like a camp quiz once where you had to count for 20 seconds, and the person that was closest would win.
Ah.
I kind of worked out that my best chance of doing it would be to do that, and I won.
Do some rapping.
Well, no, you don't have to do it. You just go through the song in your head.
Yeah. That's funny. And so what, you started a blog about it. What was your blog about?
So the blog, I think it started with, I watched a video and I wanted the t-shirt of the guy that was in the video.
Yeah.
Did like a search and, nothing came up. Like you're searching the artist's name and like t-shirt he's wearing in the video, and it's just like a kind of graphic t-shirt. Couldn't find anything. And then I kind of like spent, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours digging around until I found it.
Yeah.
And when I found it, I was thinking, I bet other people, because you see people in the comments kind of like saying, what's that t-shirt that he's wearing? I want it. I'd like have like they'd wear weird t-shirts, like massive cupcakes or, I don't know, random things. So then I just kind of like thought, if other people are interested, I'll start like a really basic WordPress blog and just started doing posts kind of like what people are wearing, where you can buy it from.
Had you ever used WordPress before?
I don't think I'd used WordPress. I'd used like similar free website builders when we were at school for other stuff, and WordPress was, because this was just like WordPress.com where it's all So it's a lot easier just to use. It's the same as all the other ones. So there's not really any hassle in setting it up, like if you do a self-hosted thing.
So you just your domain would be something.wordpress.com, and you're not allowed to make any money out of it. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so it started off just as grindarms.wordpress.com. There is a way to just like attach a proper domain name to it, even if you're on wordpress.com. Yeah. So I did that quite quickly. I think I had like grindarms.co.uk. Yeah, I didn't realise you weren't allowed to make any money off it until later when I started trying to make money off it, and it got like not shut down, but you get like messages, or I think they were able to like remove advert code from it with like, so you put it up and it wouldn't be there, and it'd be deleted from your back end, and you go, where's this advert code gone? Like there must be some kind of bug, and eventually I did loads of searching and found out that you weren't allowed to stick adverts in.
Cool.
I did make some money through affiliate stuff.
So you started to make money from it, did you?
Like, there were a few websites that had affiliate programs that sold kind of the clothing that I was writing about. Yeah. So I'd just stick an affiliate link in now and again. It didn't make very much.
How many views were you getting?
I have absolutely no idea.
Do you not? Did you know at the time? Or do you never?
I knew at the time. Well, yeah, at the time I used to track it like every day, and I think it got a lot of views.
Yeah.
But the thing is, there was a gap between doing that and starting all my other stuff. So I'm not sure so I have no idea whether what I thought was a lot of views then was a lot of views or not.
See,
and now the website's long gone, so I can't even see.
So what happened? You just got bored one day and stopped?
Yeah, I'm not sure why I stopped. I spent a bit of time. So I basically moved from writing about what clothes people are wearing in videos, which isn't particularly interesting. But it might be interesting for the person that's finding out, but it's not really interesting to do because you just end up searching for hours and then writing one blog post about it.
Yeah.
To I rebranded the whole thing into kind of like a streetwear blog.
Okay. Try to make it more mainstream.
There was kind of a lot of crossover between. There were a few kind of like startup streetwear brands that a lot of the grime artists were wearing. So I started just writing more about streetwear in general. And then I think I did that for a while. I think I did that until 2010. And then 2010, I basically just started doing other stuff and didn't have time to keep it going.
Okay, what were you doing in 2010?
2010 was when you got me into all the gambling stuff.
Okay.
I was making a lot more money than blogging about clothes.
Yeah. So you decided it just wasn't blogging, you just don't make enough money out of it.
So, yeah, I guess looking back, that was probably a step in the wrong direction. I went for like the short term cash over the long term because it hadn't been going for that long. Maybe it'd been going for a year or so, and it had grown quite a lot. But it's still making, I don't know, like £5 a day, if that.
Okay.
So you just kind of think,
what was the point?
Yeah, what's the point?
Because it's quite a lot of work, isn't it?
Oh, it's a lot of work, yeah.
Yeah. And then you went to Nottingham?
Yeah, so I moved from Grantham to Nottingham Trent. So I think the traditional route is to go down to Bedford University because that's like the one that it's linked with.
Ah, okay.
So some people would transfer and then do that. So there was only like 6 of us on my course, but I think maybe 3 or 4 of them went and did that to then top up their degree there. But I didn't really fancy just going to Bedford in the middle of nowhere where I didn't know anyone. So I emailed Nottingham Trent and asked them if I could do their course and skip the first year because I'd already done this foundation thing. And they said that was fine. Okay.
So you've got quite a bit of experience of asking for weird requests from different universities.
Yeah, and it always seems to work. It definitely seems like a lot of people would either just go to Bedford or just like go, if they really want to go to Nottingham Trent.
Just start again.
Just start again, where they find because I thought, well, it doesn't really count for anything the first year.
Yeah.
And I've already done all this stuff, so I just said.
So you just phoned them up or emailed them?
I don't even think I spoke to them on the phone. I think I literally just sent them an email, found like the name of the person that was head of the course, and said, "Can I start in year 2?" And we had a bit of a back and forth, and then he was like, as long as you get 60% on your course, like now, you can start in year 2. And I don't know, I got like 65, so that was fine.
That's so weird. That actually didn't even occur to me.
No, like when I turned up on the first day, like a lot of people were like, "Who's this guy?" Because like no one starts a course in year 2.
No.
And it was a pretty small course, so there was maybe like 25 people sitting in a classroom, and then the guy that's running it is like, yeah, this is Ben. He's joining us now. But they all knew each other. I didn't know anyone, so I just kind of like quickly latched onto a group of friends.
That's really funny. And what do you do when you finished at Nottingham?
When I finished at Nottingham, I moved back in with my parents and moved back to London. I had like a few months to try and sort out jobs and what I wanted to do. I looked at some grad schemes because that's what all my friends were doing.
Yeah.
Decided against that.
Why did you
Actually,
decide against that?
Well, so I applied to MI5.
Did you?
Yeah.
You wanted to be the
I'm
next
not really
James
sure
Bond.
why. I think I just did like one of those searches for kind of like top grad schemes, and that was one of the ones that was in it. Tom kept telling me that Audi was good, but I didn't really want to go and work in Audi.
Uh-huh.
So I applied to MI5, got an interview.
Did you?
The interview happened to be... I make all my decisions on really like stupid things. So the interview for MI5
Yeah.
was 2 days into Quantock, which was like a Christian camp that I do every year.
Yeah.
And like obviously back in London, and Quantock's in wherever it is, like the southwest of England, miles away.
Yeah.
So basically there was no way I was going to be able to go to camp, quickly go and do an interview, come back. I'd have to go like 3 days late, which they'd frown upon quite a lot. So I basically just said, well, I won't do MI5 then. And then came back from like Quantock after that. I was thinking, oh, I better find something else to do.
No, you can't be a secret agent. You've got to find something else.
Yeah. So then I started looking for table tennis coaching jobs. And it just happened that there was a school that had a really established program whose coach was leaving. And I knew a lot of the kids at the school because I go to my old table tennis club. And I think maybe like the London coaching person that works for the ETTA knew me as well. So I don't know. I just got sorted out with that job. There wasn't really an interview. I just turned up and he said, "Do you want it?" And I said, "Yeah."
Sorry. So what? You just turned up at a school one day?
No. So someone told me. I think like one of the kids at the school was like, "Oh, our table tennis coach is leaving.
Okay.
Like you should come and coach." And I didn't have any other job. So I thought, well, that kind of sounds like a decent thing. It was only 2 days a week, so it was like 10 hours a week because it was like 5 hours at a time. But then, yeah, I don't know how it happened, but I just had to go in one day. Like, it must have been, was it summer holidays? Yeah, I think it was summer holidays. But he came into the school to like show me the sports hall and just like sort out a few things. And then was like, well, this is what we want. This is how much we can pay you. Do you want it? And I said, yeah. Like, I don't think they spoke to anyone else about it.
Okay. That's pretty good. So you got 2 days a week. What did you spend the rest of your time doing?
I got 2 days a week. Obviously, I needed to fill up the rest of the time. Then, actually, yeah, so after that, I then went on another, like, church youth camp thing that I was leading on.
Yeah.
Basically spent the whole week on my phone emailing different schools, having phone calls with schools that had emailed back, trying to just convince other schools to employ me.
So what, you just started randomly emailing schools?
So I think I probably emailed about 100 schools, primary schools and secondary schools.
What on earth would you say in email? And who would you address it to?
So a lot of the time you can find out, you just find out who's the head of PE or who a deputy head is.
Yeah.
And just email them. Yeah, so I just had the same stock email. I just change a few details like their name or like change a line that kind of said why I liked their school, why I thought their school would be good for table tennis.
Yeah.
and just kind of like just literally blasted out like loads of them. So like it must have been close to 100. I was just any school within like a 5 mile radius of my parents' house.
That's so funny. And you and what, like, were they advertising these jobs, or did you just try and get them to create a job for you?
No, I was just creating
You're
jobs.
just creating jobs, and it worked.
Yeah, what? So I had one school that said, oh, they actually needed a table tennis person to do like GCSE PE.
Yeah.
So that was 3 hours a week, I think.
Okay.
So that was fine. That was like I think that was on one of the mornings that I was already at this other school. So that was actually quite convenient because I do 3 hours in the morning, quickly drive and do my 5 hours at the other school.
Yeah.
So that was like a full day. Then another school I basically managed them to give me what I had at the first school, kind of like 10 hours over. Actually, no, it was 8 hours. It's 2 4-hour afternoons. They'd never done table tennis before, so that was quite a win.
That's ridiculous.
So like literally, I came in the summer holidays, spoke to someone. They had like 2 outdoor tables, and they said, "Oh, these are our tables." And I said, "Oh, we can't do it outside on 2 tables." Like, but then they were brilliant. So I was doing a lot of things not with the PE department, with like the actual deputy heads or assistant heads of the school. So that if you said we need to buy 4 tables to make this happen, they
could do
call
it.
someone up and just do it straight away.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and then so they'd never done table tennis before, and now they're like the best school for table tennis in our area. Like after I eventually left, I just gave the job to like another coach that I knew, and he's taken over, and now he's doing. I think he might be in 3 or 4 days a week now. Like they're taking it really seriously.
Yeah, that's so funny. Do you think that they would have offered you the job if you hadn't have got that first job? Like, was the fact that you're already working at a school, was that kind of you through the door? You think it just some random person emailed them up saying, "Oh, I'm good at table tennis. I want to coach your kids."
Yeah, I don't know if it did. They didn't really ask me about that until much later.
Okay, that wasn't like your opening line in the email.
No.
You weren't like,
No,
"Oh,
I think my opening line was that I'd spent 2 years at a table tennis academy. I had a degree in coaching and sports science.
okay."
It's all that stuff. Like once I'd got this other school to decide to take table tennis really seriously, then I basically like told them exactly what I'd do at the first school, so they could just copy. Like they copied everything. Like I gave them the contract that one, so they could copy that. Because they didn't even know how to write like a proper contract for a sports coach who's like not going to be
Not do very much, yeah.
Like and not employed properly. And
Yeah.
do you have to do a pension? And how does it work with sick pay? So I just gave them the contract. They copied it.
That's really funny. That's pretty interesting. Cool. So you've got a history of creating university degrees and jobs
Out of thin
out
air.
of thin air, yeah. So
I think
go on.
like a lot of people seem to think that you can't just email schools and hope that some of them will give you a job. And like the majority of them didn't reply. Some of them did reply and then turned out to be nothing. But like, I emailed enough that I was pretty much working. Well, what was I doing in a week? I was doing maybe 25 hours in total table tennis coaching a week at one point, which is too much probably. It's just a lot of... It doesn't sound like that much, but it is quite a lot because there's a lot of stuff to do outside of like school time with fixtures and planning sessions and putting results into different things. But yeah, like if you want to coach or something, like there's no harm in emailing loads of schools asking for it, or if you're, I don't know, any other kind of tutor or music teacher or something.
Yeah.
Just email all the schools and ask if they want a violin teacher. One of them probably say yes.
So you don't need like a PGCE or any sort of teaching professional qualifications to be able to do that?
I think it's like a little bit of a grey area.
Yeah. Were they all private schools?
No. Some of them are private schools, but a lot of them weren't.
Yeah.
It's I think if it's so what I kind of picked up was if it's a games lesson instead of a PE lesson,
Okay.
then they're kind of allowed to just have anyone coach it. That seemed to be the rules. If it's at lunchtime or after school, anyone can take it.
Yeah.
I did do some PE lessons just because sometimes it'd just be either they didn't have staff or they'd happen to be doing table tennis for like GCSE and really wanted someone that knew what they were doing. I don't know if that's allowed or not, but on the coaching course, it's like the level 2 coaching course. I'm coaching 5 days a week on this course and I haven't even got the qualifications. So they were basically saying, well, one thing you can do is offer to like coach in a school for free just to get your foot in the door and then later try and get some money for it.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking, like, that's the worst advice ever. Because once you tell them that you're happy to do it for free, why are they going to randomly start paying you when you were like doing it all for free before? Like, I told them just email them saying how much you charge and then see if they
do it.
Because if you're a good coach, you're not going to be doing it for free, are you? So
yeah, you're kind of devaluing yourself by.
Yeah, if you're willing to do it for free, then you're kind of what kind of coach are you? It's something, isn't it? And I had like child protection and first aid. And
yeah.
Kind of the other things that you need to have, otherwise no school's going to employ you if you haven't got that. But
did you get to like email number 50 with no replies and just get really demotivated? Like what?
I was doing the emails so quickly that I think
there was no chance for anyone to reply. There was no chance to fail.
No, and it's the summer holidays, so like I didn't get a lot of replies until
school started again.
They came back to school anyway.
Yeah. So that's really good, isn't it? Because you could have sat there ringing people up and spent a week and rung up like 30 places and just been turned down by everyone. Instead, in a few afternoons, I imagine, I spent most of it was trying to find people's email addresses, but the actual sending emails were just really quick.
Yeah.
And you don't get that pain of like rejection on the phone, someone telling you no.
Yeah, I don't love phone calls really. I find them quite annoying.
What's that? Why is that?
I don't know, calling people up, like, I always feel like you can email someone and it doesn't seem like you're pestering them.
Okay.
Whereas, like, isn't it, like, a cold email is a lot better than a cold call?
Yeah.
Like, obviously you need to, so I spoke to people on the phone after
the email,
Yeah, after the email, but I think if they don't like an email, they can just, I don't know, maybe you'd get better response if you were actually on the phone. You kind of looks like you're more serious, but
yeah,
I didn't need to.
Well, yeah, you might have a better hit rate, but you can't call as many people as you can email.
Yeah, sure.
So you were doing a bit of gambling. You were making money out of match betting, which I can talk about at some other point.
Yep.
And then what happened then? Did that sort of dry up? Like, what led you to go back into blogging?
Yeah, that's a good question. What did lead me to go back into blogging? I kind of had this so I started listening to things that were talking about how to make money by setting up like a really like bogus site with a few pages and sticking ads on it and SEO and all that kind of like nonsense. So the first I made like africanpygmyhedgehog.co.uk.
Does that still exist?
Did you not know that?
No, I knew that.
It's not there anymore. It was up for like a couple of months.
Pygmyhedgehog.co.uk.
It won't be there.
Oh, I'll have a look on the
Actually, I don't even know if that was the domain.
Okay.
I can find out the domain and tell you another time.
Yeah, do that. Because Web Archive might have it. Go on. So you did that. What was that? Just pictures of hedgehogs?
So it was like, well, the plan was that, I mean, there's loads of things you can do. Like, it was basically try and pick a niche that's growing.
Okay.
And
like
that was
pygmy hedgehogs.
Apparently, that's like a growing niche. Like, girls love tiny hedgehogs.
Okay.
But it was it definitely
wasn't like the little pigs now, micro pigs.
Yeah. So it definitely wasn't like my area of expertise in any way. And I think I wrote like, I don't know, 4 or 5 articles about like the best the best food for your African pygmy hedgehog and the best bedding for your African pygmy hedgehog.
Yeah.
And pretty soon I was sick to death of like doing that and you also kind of felt like, well, I'm providing a service in the sense that I'm scrolling through loads of other stuff and kind of like rewriting it in a nice way, but I'm not really providing anything new because I don't know anything about them.
Yeah. And you have no interest in African pygmy hedgehogs?
I think I just started writing down loads of ideas. Like
Okay.
at the time, there were a lot of people that seemed to have like 100 or 200 different rubbish websites, and they'd make like
A few quid
10,
off each
20
one.
pound a month, yeah, like off all of them, and that would work out to be quite a nice income.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I wasn't trying to dedicate, the rest of my life to African pygmy hedgehogs. It was
Okay.
just, well, I'll just do this, and then once I've done this, I'll do another one.
Yeah.
But after doing one, I realised like I really don't want to keep doing this, like writing about random things that I don't care about.
Did you make any money out of it?
I made, like, it had AdSense on it, which doesn't make you anything, does it? So,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, pennies or a few pounds from that.
Yeah.
I had some, like, Amazon associate links to the 1 or 2 African pygmy hedgehog books that are available that retail for, like, £4 or something, so you get 5% of that. So, yeah, it made very little money.
Okay. What happened next?
What happened
You
next?
got bored of African pygmy hedgehogs.
Yeah, I can't. See, I feel like there might have actually been a few other like stupid things in between, but I honestly just can't remember. I remember there was a point where I decided, right, I should make a website about table tennis because like table tennis is my thing.
Yeah.
I
Something
should
you actually
stop.
care about.
I should stop making a website about everything else. But I think there was definitely more in between that. I don't think it was. It definitely wasn't that smooth a process.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like trying out other stupid ideas that I'd seen someone else doing.
So was it always called Expert Table Tennis?
But it started off being called pingcoach.com.
Okay. That sounds like a slightly different. What was that about? What was pingcoach.com?
It's the same blog as this is now.
Yeah.
So like when I did the first post, it was under that name. It was just, I don't know, there wasn't really any idea behind the site other than I'm a table tennis coach, and tabletenniscoach.com had gone, and I didn't want to have like a really long name like, I don't know, table tennis coach with something after it.com.
Yeah. Tabletenniscoach1.com.
Yeah, so I just kind of like, I'd seen like there were a few other things that use ping as a kind of like table tennis word.
Yeah.
So I just went for pingcoach.com. It's quite short and punchy, isn't it? Like, it's not bad to have a 9-letter domain name.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's not too bad. Why did you change it?
I changed it because, so when I changed it, I think it was probably more important to change it than it is now because I was trying to rank for table tennis and having table tennis in the domain.
It's important.
When did I launched it in 2012, and I think maybe it had started to become less important by then, but the stuff I was reading that had been written in 2010 or 2011 was all saying try and get your thing in the domain.
Yeah.
So I just changed it to that.
Okay, cool. So you started writing a blog. Is that what it was? Just a blog?
Yeah, it was just a blog, and it didn't really have any main purpose or vision. It was just me writing anything I wanted to about table tennis.
Is that because did you have sort of an idea that you'd make money out of it, or was it just an interesting thing, or?
No, I think actually by that point I'd almost given up with the money thing.
Yeah.
Like after my experience with the hedgehogs and everything else, I think I'd started to think that it was just a lot harder than these people were making out to make money. So I just like
gave up.
Just given up.
Is it something you actually
but
like?
I still had this some kind of desire to have a website because I'd always kind of been interested in starting my own website.
Mm. So you launched it, and how long did it take you to actually start getting noticed?
I think it got noticed pretty much straight away.
Yeah. Is there much competition?
There's very little competition. And most of my friends on Facebook are table tennis people. So if you put up a link saying you've got a blog and you've written something, a lot of people are going to click through and read it anyway.
Because they don't have much to read about table tennis at the moment.
No.
Or in, is it different now or?
I mean, no, I don't think it's that much different now.
Yeah.
Like along the way, I've seen other people start kind of like table tennis blogs, and kind of thought, oh, they could have quite a nice blog. Like, you know, they probably have a much better blog than I'd have. Like from what they write on their posts.
Yeah.
And then like a month later, like they never write anything else.
Yeah. It's quite a commitment, is it? How much time do you spend, or did you spend on it for the first couple of years?
I think it's hard to say really. Probably a couple of hours a day, like either in the morning if I wasn't coaching in the morning or in the evening.
That's quite a long time, isn't it?
It is quite a lot of time.
Yeah. And are you still coaching now?
No, I stopped coaching July last year, so kind of, how long was that? 8 months ago.
And what are you doing instead?
So at the moment, I am doing a number of different projects, selling table tennis equipment. The blog, so the Expert Table Tennis blog makes a bit of money as well through affiliate sales and things like that.
So when you quit, were you making enough money to support yourself?
I don't know. Depends what you call supporting yourself. I wasn't making like a huge amount of money, so that you know that everything's going to be perfect. You haven't got to worry about it.
Yeah.
But it seemed like I was making enough that, and I also, being an optimist, believe that it's kind of like continuously going to grow. So quite happy for it to start off being barely acceptable, with the belief that it'll become okay like further on down the line. So unless you get like a really, really high up table tennis job, like the head coach of a national team, which you're just not going to get unless you've got a massive amount of experience. Like coaching kind of pays the same to everyone.
Okay, so you could get back into it quite easily.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know for sure, but I assume that if
you have to send out your 100 emails again.
Yeah, if I decided tomorrow that I really wanted to get into coaching, I assume I'd be able to find a decent amount of hours coaching people.
Nice. So,
I guess that's why it was kind of no risk for me, because I kind of feel like if everything goes belly up and I've got no money coming in, like I could start coaching table tennis again the next day and have cash in your hand, can't you see?
So you're married. What does your wife think about your project?
Yeah, she's pretty happy, I think, that I do what I'm doing.
When you told her you were quitting your job, what was her reaction?
I don't know actually.
Did you tell her, or was it like a decision you made together, or did one day you just turn up and like, oh, sorry, I've got to tell you, I'm no longer work.
No, I must have told her in advance, but I don't know if I like made a really big deal about like discussing is it a good idea with her and stuff beforehand. I think I just kind of decided I was doing it.
Okay.
Like looking back, if I did that, that's pretty rubbish move by me. But
yeah.
There's probably a good chance I did do that, because at the time I don't really think about that kind of stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm not giving myself enough credit.
Maybe. That would be funny. So do you think...
I also have a really bad memory, so doing these kind of interviews, like thinking back about what happened in the past is not my strong point. I might just kind of create what I want to believe and then just completely forget what actually happened.
Yeah. All right. Well, we won't hold you to anything you said. I'm looking forward to seeing that African Pygmy website. I'm excited. So
I bet it looks terrible, really bad. I remember it was green.
Okay, is that the colour of an African Pygmy hedgehog?
No, I'm not sure why it was green. I think I was trying to make it look
Vibrant.
like, no, it was like a kind of light green. I wanted it to kind of look,
Okay.
I don't know, like green animals.
Okay. Organic.
Yeah.
So I hear a lot when reading these online blogs and podcasts. A lot of people say, "Oh, if you just keep plugging away at something, eventually it will work out." Or where's a quote I heard recently? Oh, that no matter how thick the tree trunk, if you keep hacking away at it, eventually it will fall down. Do you think that's true? Do you think that if you were giving sort of 3-4 hours a day to writing a blog, that it will work? Or do you think there's a point where you just got to say, this isn't working, just give up?
No, I think I'd probably err on the side of just keep going and eventually it'll work out.
Okay.
Just from kind of like my own personal experience.
And what about if you're doing something, let's say African pygmy hedgehogs were starting to take off and you were making 100 quid a day from it, but it was taking 3-4 hours, but you just hated it. Sort of looking back now, like, what do you think you'd do in that situation?
What if I was doing something that I hated but it was paying good money?
Yeah, pretty much. But not like really good money, kind of more than you'd be earning in a job, and with the potential that it could get really, really big.
Yeah, I don't know. That's quite tricky, isn't it? I mean, because I'm normally quite quick to, just get rid of anything that I don't like.
Okay.
So my initial answer would just be to say, I'd just get rid of it. But then I quite like things. I quite like watching things grow. So if I felt like it was really growing, maybe it'd be quite hard to
give it up.
Just give it up. Yeah. It's nice to see numbers increasing, isn't it?
Cool. So Ben, what's next for you, and where can we see your stuff, see your projects?
What's next for me? All the Expert in a Year stuff is a big project at the moment. So got a podcast coming out for that, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So that's kind of the first time I've really done any proper podcasting.
Apart from that stuff with Tom many years ago.
So that's pretty cool. Never written like a proper book before, so it'll be nice to go through the process of that. That's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah. When do you expect that to be out by?
When do I expect that to be out by? I think I've written on things that will be out in the second half of 2015, but I think if we do it properly, it will never be out in the second half of 2015. If we do it properly, it'll probably be out the second half of 2016.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Say hopefully a year.
Sometime in the future.
I think it just, from what I've heard of people releasing books, it just takes like way longer than you think it's going to take.
Yeah.
Yeah, so doing that, still doing all of the expert table tennis stuff. I mean, so much of the stuff I'm doing with you, so it seems a bit silly to tell you about it, but Eastfield, the table tennis brand, is finally things are moving with that. So we've got our first table tennis rubber samples ready to send off to the ITTF, so that's pretty cool. The back cases are being made starting today, so we'll have like 1,000 of them to shift.
It's pretty cool.
So yeah, loads of stuff going on.
So if someone listening to this and you want them to take one action, what would it be? Should they go over and subscribe to experttabletennis.com? What would you like? What would you like them to do?
What would I like them to do? That's a good question, because that's kind of like the thing that I'm really bad at, is that I never really get anyone to do anything. So there's a guy at church who's really into like email marketing and all that stuff, and I think you must go home being like, "Oh, this guy is such an idiot." Because, but like I'm not that interested in trying to get people to subscribe or trying to get people to try to get the most out of visitors.
So you don't want them to do anything? Is that the answer to your question?
I don't know, because
You want them to go
unless
off
they're
and go to
really
bed.
interested, unless they're really interested in table tennis, and subscribing to Expert Table Tennis isn't going to be for them, really. Maybe they can follow me on Twitter, because that's quite open. So, Ben Larcombe on Twitter.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Ben. It's been
Cheers, Sam.
interesting talking to you. Cheers.